Okay guys, this is a very recent battle on one of the newer maps, Kharkhov, and there were so many interesting things in this battle that I thought I'd make a video right away. Now, the first thing is something that I haven't really talked about, although it's been in the back of my mind for a long time in World of Tanks, and it's what I call the Amoeba Formation. And what I mean by that is that our guys deploy in a very conservative manner, in a safe manner, and our groups of vehicles are not too far away from mutual support, so we can deal with just about anything that happens. And on this map, there's plenty of cover, there's plenty of corridors, there's plenty of opportunity to avoid fire if you're careful. So it works in this particular case. Second thing is XVM said we had a 37% chance of winning this game. You can take that any way you like, but I take it to mean that our conservative deployment really helped out. Now, the second thing I want to show you is just a few scouting moves, things that I do all the time in World of Tanks and are pretty useful to winning a battle. And the third thing I want to point out is that the IS-3 and the T-32 on the enemy team made what I consider to be a bad mistake, and I'll point that out when we get there. So I'm going to hit the space bar and advance the action here at regular speed.
Move out.
Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is scouting stuff. Now on this flank on Kharkov, I've had a lot of trouble advancing, but in this battle what I'm going to do is I'm going to trail my coat in front of the enemy and not try to work my way forward here, simply because I've had terrible success doing that. So I want them to see me, a little bit of bad driving there, and I'm just going to wait until I'm observed, and I have no intention of staying here. Okay, this is a reverse peekaboo. I can drive forward quicker than driving backwards. So there we are. They've seen me, and I'm going to make my escape. Now, there's a bit of bad driving here. I crash into this building. Not so bright. And the T-21 hits me for 130 damage. And you can see they're being a bit aggressive over here. But on the other hand, I think we have enough forces near to hand. I make one circle in the concern that we might have trouble over here. But then, just looking at the layout, I think I decided, yeah, I can leave this area and check the other flank for the breakthrough to go for their arties, right? That's my ultimate goal here. So I'm going to go over near the T-28 and see what's what. And this vehicle is really fast. That's one of the reasons I love a fast vehicle, because it enables me to get around the battlefield really quickly. Okay, here's the mistake I wanted to talk about. The T-32 and the IS-3 on the enemy team have made a decision to undertake a flanking maneuver, and in my opinion that is the signature of a loss in the making. And the simple reason for that is it's almost certainly going to take too long for them to get involved in the fighting. And on this flank over here, our Amoeba Formation is dealing out mondo damage to fewer vehicles on the enemy team, while these guys are still on their march. Now, they are the two top vehicles, and I think that is an indulgence to think that you can avoid the fight for that length of time in the most important vehicles. I don't think that's a great idea. In less important vehicles you can do it, but it's critical in most battles, I would say, for the most important vehicles on your team to get involved in the fight as early as possible, consistent with safety. I don't want them to go to a bad place, but I want them to approach the area of the decision sooner rather than later. And we've got a T-28 Prot guarding this corner, and although this is not a closed street corner, there are gaps and they can work their way forward. In my opinion, it's going to take too long. And I've used this expression many times. Many of you have probably heard me say it. Quote, if they won't go with you, you have to go with them. And that applies especially in the case of the most important vehicles on your team. So we'll see how that goes. But you know, I'm real happy that we've done the amoeba and they have scattered. So I'm going to hit the space bar here. And my next move, of course, is to try the third avenue of approach. And there's an important concept coming up here, and I'll explain that when I get to it. It has to do with Infamous's view range. A platoon with Infamous and also with KZB in this battle. Now, this has to do with a concept you've probably heard me talk about. I'll just hit the spacebar here. It's safe ground revealed, right? Infamous's eyes have cleared the path for me, so I'm pretty sure that I can break through here with no danger. And here's something else I want to point out. Look back over there. The T-32 and the IS-3 are still getting to the fight, while our guys are, you know, have I would say decisive fire superiority over here. Now, like I said, XVM said our players weren't as good as theirs, but that doesn't matter if you know, they're good players, or some of them are taking their time. Well, we've got plenty of targets. So I'm going to hit the space bar here and show you what I do in the backfield. There are 2 arties that I have to eliminate. And a good thing about this map is they sometimes go in this little depression here on the railway tracks, and it's below the horizon, right? If people have a mind to shoot back, the fact that he's downstairs here means I don't face any return fire, which is great. Now I crash into this guy on purpose, and unfortunately I break my tracks. That doesn't always happen because I do have the torsion bars, and I let my crew do the repair, 3 seconds or less, and then I have to approach the other arty. And this is pretty lame. Okay, he just fired. This is so lame. Oh, there he is firing now. Look at this. My T-50 would have roared up this hillside in no time at all. And, you know, I don't like the sluggishness of this vehicle, but that's the best you can do these days. So although I hesitated there, I did decide to tap him as well for a little bit of damage and finish him off. Now, my main concern at this point is I want to help out back at the main action, where the IS-3 and T-32 are finally involved, but it's too late, folks. And you know, our inferior players did just enough damage to make all the difference before they got to the fight. Now I think that Comet takes a shot at me there, and look, he's chasing me. I mean, a Comet cannot chase an MT-25. You know, it's not going to work. So my concern at this stage is I want to get there in time to kamikaze the T-32. You know, it's a little bit selfish, but you can do that in a winning fight. And as you can see, they've only got 3 guys left. And I just line up my tank here and get going at full speed and have a little bit of fun. Boom. Now, he liked it. And the KV-85 liked it. He was probably spectating me, maybe. And there's another comment, and I do a play on words about his name. And that's game over, guys. Now, you know, the most important lesson to take away from this is if you're in the most important vehicles, you have to move out in a way that will assist the rest of your team as quickly as possible. And if you have any ideas of independent action and depriving the rest of your team of your support, I think it's a terrible idea. And it's not only a mistake, it's a bit of selfish play on your part. So, you know, get those ideas out of your mind, watch what your team is doing, and you'll have better results. Game over.